So in order to understand how RiskIQ's digital footprint technology works, we have to understand a little bit about our discovery process. And so this helps us figure out how it is that we're going to build out that inventory. So to start, we want to leverage all this interconnected data that I was talking about gathering from the internet. And so with the way in which we're doing this today is globally placed sensors and proxies. We have headless web crawlers that we typically refer to as our virtual users that are performing billions of requests per day. We're doing routine, regular IPv4 internet scans for ports and data as well. And then we're mining open source intelligence and results. And what you can see here represented as these individual hexagons are all these different derivative data sets that we're essentially collecting and then using to inform our discovery process. And so we essentially have a bunch of algorithms that build on the relationships of these different pieces of the internet. And so IP addresses resolve to domains. Domains through whois are registered via emails. Those emails might be shared to register other domains that then resolve to other IPs. Those IPs might be hosting an SSL certificate, and then it makes a reference to another domain. That domain might have a web page, and that web page might have a particular unique tracker on it that's associated with the business that then is linked to another domain, and so on. Our algorithms make use of the way that this information is connected in order to build out your digital footprint. And so the discovery process works a little bit like this. We start with a keystone asset. It could be a domain name, a whois contact, a name server, or an IP address, and it's fed into the discovery process. From here, what we do is the initial discovery. And so we're going to leverage all those data sets that I just mentioned and the rich history that we have in order to find a bunch of candidates that might be part of your organization. And so if we're thinking about RiskIQ in our company, some of the candidates that may come out of one of our keystones could be all of these RiskIQ domains and then RiskIQ hosts. Once we have those candidates, we then go through a verification stage. Now, this can be done manually, where we work directly with the client or the client does it themselves, or it could be leveraged with automation as well. And so what we're looking at here is the confidence, not only how close it looks like it is to the organization, but also how connected it is. So we're looking, again, the relationship between all these data points and using that as a means to help create a confidence score. And so once we've gone through the verification, we've created and added those items into inventory, we then begin the data enrichment stage. This is where we're going to actually go out and scan all the open ports on those assets. We're going to look at all of the full details of the web application. We're going to begin to understand the technologies that are running on these assets in order to figure out whether or not any vulnerabilities exist. And so this is just an example of what the inventory could look like. This is one of our demo workspaces, where essentially what we have here is a search bar up top that allows us to essentially run guided queries. So we can start we can begin asking questions about our inventory. And you'll see the way in which it's organized. On the left-hand side, we have a number of different filters that are available to us for each of the different data sets that we have, where we can include or exclude specific information. We can then sort all of those pieces of data as well. On the top tab structure, we have the inventory broken out by the types of assets. And then what you can see here is that I've actually clicked on one of the assets and began to expand that. So I can not only see tags and some other metadata, but I can also see all of the other linked assets associated with this particular website. I can see an audit trail as to how RiskIQ actually found the asset and why it got added to inventory. And then if I wanted to, I can actually pivot and see all of the full details, including the ownership, the technology that's running, potential vulnerabilities exist, etc.